This is the channel speak, who has the initials AS. I haven't physically interacted with Pleiadians in this life. I have telepathically talked to them a lot. I've mostly talked to medium to relatively high consciousness Pleiadians, not so much to very high consciousness, non-physical Pleiadians. Here are some conversations and interactions I've had with Pleiadians. I hope you will find it amusing or interesting. 1. It's really nourishing and healing to interact with someone who reads all the thoughts that pop into your mind, if you give them permission, otherwise they won't. You'll never react with judgment or hostility towards any of your thoughts. 2. While they're not going to judge you, it does help if you're not ashamed or embarrassed about your own thoughts and feelings. What might very well happen one day is that you'll stand in front of some galactic and you'll feel lust for it, or initially you'll feel a bit scared or weirded out by their appearance. Most likely the galactic will just read your body language and understand what you're feeling. They won't judge you, but it does help to have a certain shamelessness with regards to your thoughts and feelings. You can choose and control your actions, but you can't really choose what arises in you, other than through long-term spiritual work. 3. If you have reliable telepathic contact with a Pleiadian, you can ask for an energetic hug, where they bring their energy body up to Earth and give you a hug with their energy body. Most people won't be able to feel that, but very energy sensitive people might be able to. Obviously, an energetic hug doesn't quite feel the same as a physical one, but it's still nice. I find that the more I grow spiritual, the more tangible and physical the Pleiadians feel when they move their energy body over. Come and hug me. Well, they often point out that they didn't become more tangible, they just became more sensitive. Sometimes Pleiadians insist that I give myself credit for my progress. 4. Energy bodies can be stretched or moulded at will. Pleiadians are great at working with energy. I've had a smaller myself Pleiadian stretch her energy body so that she could be the big spoon. I've had a Pleiadian grow another set of arms in her energy body so that she could put 2 sets of arms around me. I've also had a Pleiadian literally reach into my chest and touch my heart with her energy body, which initially triggered a fear response, but then felt nice. 5. It may be different for very high consciousness Pleiadians, but medium consciousness Pleiadians experience emotions just as we do. I've seen them be sad, cry, feel righteous anger when seeing injustice, etc. They just don't resist it, so the emotions pass through them very quickly, and we suffer no long-term ill effects. One time, a Pleiadian said she was actually going to sleep to process some emotions, which is pretty abnormal for her. Normally she just meditates or trances or astral travels for a few hours without actually sleeping. That's all the rest she needs. 6. A day is the time it takes the Earth to rotate on its axis. That specific amount of time, 24 hours, is obviously very significant on Earth, but 24 hours is a pretty arbitrary amount of time for beings who aren't native to Earth. Still, it's easy enough for them to convert their time units to our time. 7. Pleiadian days last what we would think of as a bit over 26 hours. So yes, our days are in fact too short. However, there are Pleiadian planets with different day-night cycles. So a Pleiadian day, 26 hours, may not actually correspond to a light and dark period on a given Pleiadian world. Often Pleiadians will rest whenever it's dark outside, but that means they don't necessarily rest once per day, depending on the planet. Pleiadians instead talk about a cycle, which is 1 active plus 1 rest period for the individual Pleiadian. Families and colleagues often intentionally adopt the same cycle. The man might say, next cycle, let's do this together, which means after our next rest period, let's do this together. 8. Pleiadians have hologram artists, light sculptures, and what we would think of as a holiday game. 9. One time I was able to get an exceptionally clear vision of what a certain Pleiadian woman looked like, one whom I haven't channeled. She looked like a blonde, blue-eyed, pretty Scandinavian woman. What particularly struck me about her was that she had an innocent look on her face, kind I'm only used to seeing on the faces of children here on Earth. Now, to be clear, this woman was older, wiser, smart, more powerful, more sexual experience, and more well-travelled than I was. She also had gently called out some of my nonsense in past interactions, so she wasn't naive or a pushover. And yet she had an innocent look on her face. I found that striking. 10. Often when I ask Pleiadians how they're able to be a certain way, they simply reply that they haven't been hurt or damaged by Earthlight. The way they are is just the natural way that some humans are when they're undamaged and relatively unencumbered. 11. Pleiadians, being mind readers and mind sharers, very good at synchronizing movements with each other. 10 random Pleiadians can start dancing in near perfect or near perfect unison almost immediately if they wish. This also has obvious military benefit. 12. Pleiadian remarks that on Earth, it seems more standard to first decide that you like someone and then to kiss them. Whereas in her culture, kissing was often used as a way to evaluate if you want to have a romantic or sexual relationship with someone. So in her culture, you kiss someone to decide if you like them, rather than kissing them after you decide you like them. I know that kissing to decide if you like someone sometimes happens on Earth as well, but it's more common with Pleiadians apparently. Of course, it helps that Pleiadian women feel safe to kiss someone, but then still decide to gently communicate not interested. Also, a person's energy plays a larger part in attraction to Pleiadians than for average Earth humans. 13. Pleiadians think of an umbrella term like intelligence or level of consciousness is pretty meaningless, because with many kinds of intelligences, people have great or lesser development in certain aspects of their consciousness. Some people can achieve deep self-meditation. Some people are really good at self-reflection, etc. 14. That said, one Pleiadian estimated that the average Pleiadian IQ is somewhere around 135 in Earth terms. That means an average Pleiadian is about as intelligent as the top 1% of Earth humans. So average Pleiadians are about as smart as really smart Earth humans. 15. From their perspective, that means that when they talk to Earth humans, on average they're talking to someone with 35 IQ points less than themselves. If you try talking to someone with 35 IQ points less than yourself, we'll see how that experience is. Of course, someone like Ashtar has a far higher than average Pleiadian IQ, which means from his perspective, he's talking to someone with perhaps 80 IQ less than himself, which is a challenge. Now, Pleiadians don't think in terms of IQ or primarily care about raw intelligence, but still. 16. From a Pleiadian perspective, average Earth humans are low consciousness, violent, stupid, primitive, non-introspective, actively miseducated, smelly, unpredictable, emotionally and psychically blocked, traumatized, capable of appalling cruelty and callousness. Generally, Earth humans believe what they want to believe, rather than what is actually true. Now, Pleiadians understand that this isn't inherent to us. We won't always be like this. Pleiadians also understand that some Earth humans are much better people than average Earth humans. Pleiadians do really admire that some of us have found the light and are standing up for truth, even after being born in such a dark world. This is a quality we have that they don't, because being loving after growing up in a Pleiadian culture is pretty much automatic and isn't any kind of special attainment on their part. 17. Still, if you're Pleiadian communicating with this group of people, wouldn't you start out by being truthful, but also diplomatic and a little bit careful? Even if you found an Earth human you could trust, you might ease up and start acting towards them in a way that's more normal from your point of view, even if less normal from their point of view. Personally, I believe that some people who are generally talking to galactics still being treated diplomatically and carefully. And the galactics are, for example, only or primarily giving them love and light and raw intel types of messages, because those are hard to distort. 18. If you're wondering what I mean by Pleiadians easing up and treating us in a way that's normal for them but less normal for us, well, I've had a Pleiadian start a conversation with me while I was peeing, and she knew that. I've had a Pleiadian start a conversation with me while she was peeing. I've had sex with a Pleiadian's energy body, and not just she, but also a vagina separately expressed affection towards me afterwards. Body parts have consciousnesses of their own and can telepathically communicate on their own. I've repeatedly had a Pleiadian look through my eyes, say she was happy with the way my poop looks, indicating that I was healthy. It is weird to interact with people who aren't weird about body functions, but still, why be ashamed of body functions? There's no reason to be. 19. A Pleiadian thought it was interesting that many Earth women on beaches are apparently unconcerned with revealing a large part of their buttocks through wearing a small bikini bottom. though it's typically don't want to reveal their breasts. From a Pleiadian perspective, it's considered more revealing to show your buttocks, or even a large part of it, than to show your breasts. After all, as you put it, you have to reveal your breast during breastfeeding. There's no necessity to ever reveal your buttocks. That said, while it's not a problem to reveal any part of your body, usually Pleiadians cover about as much of their body with clothing as we typically do. It's not typical for Pleiadians to go topless. 20. To most people who think Pleiadians are excessively focused on sex, keep in mind that they're using sex not just for fun and connection, but also for purposes of spiritual growth, light work, healing, and magic. So it's not all just hedonism. I've had sexual experiences with energy bodies of Pleiadians, that gave me an amount of spiritual growth that otherwise would have taken me months or years to obtain myself. Simply put, if her energy body touches me and I feel that, and if I touch her energy body and she feels that, even though she's not physically here. If you're curious, we did the infinity practice described in Hakann, gaining and losing energy. 21. Pleiadians are Pleiadians are conscious about possible power imbalances in their interactions with us. They don't want us to worship them. If they make an offhand remark that they personally do something in a certain way, they don't want us to see that as the only proper way to do things. They don't want us to copy them in all respects. They want us to remain our own people. Fortunately, from their point of view, lots of humans have larger, fully ground past the phase, where we like to be worshipped while blindly copying them. 22. The minority of Pleiadians who are open to dating her humans sometimes also worried about power imbalances in romantic relationships with us. It's not necessarily great for a romantic relationship if one partner perceives the other as being superior to themselves or as being irreplaceably amazing. So let's just say you wanted to date a Pleiadian. You're lucky or developed enough that there's Pleiadian interest in you too. And first, there may be a period of spiritual growth and healing necessary to get onto their level so you can be together as equals. You can grow really quickly with some galactic healing and spiritual mentoring. Secondly, it helps to generally see Pleiadians as not superior to yourself. They are better at certain things, but we're also better at other things. 23. Most Pleiadians see themselves as being more developed than average Earth humans, but not as more developed and awakened, somewhat spiritually advanced Earth humans. Further describe it as we're Jane, you're Tarzan, but both have things we can teach each other. Neither is overall superior. From their perspective, we've cultivated love and light in the darkness, which is a great achievement. Whereas everyone becomes a loving person after growing up among Pleiadians. So Pleiadians being loving is no accomplishment at all. 24. Third Pleiadian described it as us light workers, having mastered and integrated the dark in a productive way without becoming evil. So Pleiadians dating us would be like the light and the dark, integrated. So Pleiadians dating us would be like the light and the integrated dark, coming together in a beautiful way. After all, we haven't experienced enough light in our lives, but Pleiadians often haven't experienced enough darkness. 25. I've often heard men mention that we're actually the species with the more psychic potential than they have, which is another reason for some of them to want to have children with us. 26. One of the Pleiadians I interact with as a teacher, one of their pupils decided to look me up and contact me. So I had a 7-year-old Pleiadian boy contact me. He said that I was carrying around a lot of old emotional pain after greeting me. He asked me why I just didn't visit a healer. I explained to him that I had. I just didn't have access to the quality of healers that he's used to. Then the next day he contacted me again and asked if he could help me in any way. I felt melted my heart a little bit. I thanked him. He said I was mostly okay. But I was more concerned with helping the people of Earth in general, and suggested he talk to his teacher. So a small group of 7 and 8-year-old Pleiadian children now occasionally doing loving kindness meditations, sending love and compassion to Earth. I hope you find that as touching as I do. 27. I saw a famous video clip of Pirates of the Caribbean, where some British officer says, "You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of." And then the fictional pirate Jack Sparrow replies, "But you have heard of him." I thought that was a cool line. A Pleiadian asked me out of curiosity, "Why do you think that's so cool?" The answer I came to after some reflection is that Jack Sparrow effectively said, "I am memorable, I am special, I am noteworthy, I'm not just another person, I will not be forgotten." Then, still out of genuine desire to understand me better, she asked, why is being memorable such a desirable thing that evokes a positive emotion in you? Personally, I don't feel a desire to be considered memorable or special. And I guess perhaps on here we feel unseen and unloved. Perhaps she has felt so seen and so connected and so loved all her life. She genuinely feels no desire to be special or famous. Except if that comes about naturally, as a result of her just following her own heart. What would our life be like if we had been loved like that for all our lives? Can we ourselves love others like that? With that, I wish you a very good week. You'll have got AS.